Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. A heavily redacted version of a report relied upon by the government when it canned a pokey reform election commitment has been released. It appears to show the rollout was ready to begin, prompting concerns about influence from industry lobby groups.
On the cusp of an Australian first, mandatory player cards to limit how much a person can lose on a poker machine, Tasmania last month hit the brakes, blaming this report by provider Max Gaming, saying it was too complex and costly. But in a heavily redacted copy quietly released a week out from Christmas, the company says it was ready to begin on November 1 and have it in venues this time next year.
They were ready to, in their own words, introduce a system with integrity. They were all ready to go, they just needed the Minister's approval.
According to the government, the sections which support its change of heart are covered by black ink.
The report points to a lack of feasibility for the implementation of the card, but also I think, as I mentioned, this idea that it is cost prohibitive in a jurisdiction like Tasmania.
That cost is commercial in confidence, but what we do know is that Tasmanians lost $16.5 million to pokies in October, $22,000 every hour.
How much is he decided is too much to pay to protect Tasmanians from gambling harm?
The Tasmanian Hospitality Association denies allegations it had undue influence on the decision to scrap the cards.
A card system doesn't prevent problem gamblers. Problem gamblers can still lose $100 a day, $500 a month.
The government wants to work with other states to jointly implement card-based gaming, but it need look no further than Victoria, which is due to roll out its own system next year.
We want to protect vulnerable Tasmanians. We're looking for measures that we can implement more quickly.
The preferred option is facial recognition cameras to detect self-excluded patrons, which has been in place in South Australia for 2 years. A recent study from Monash University finding it's better than nothing, but warned other jurisdictions against replicating it.
It is preferred by the industry over other solutions, which I think would be more effective. And the fact that the industry prefers it tells you, what's more likely to enhance their profits.
Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
A 23-year-old Clarendon Vale man has been charged with armed robbery, aggravated assault and stealing after he stormed a shopping centre yesterday afternoon, threatening staff members with a hammer. Police were called to the Howrah complex just before 3:30. 2 people received minor injuries, with authorities seizing the weapon. Police are continuing their investigation. Anyone with information is being urged to contact Crime Stoppers. A garage and car in Midway Point have gone up in flames this afternoon. Residents watching on as emergency crews extinguished the blaze on Heron Street. Thankfully, no one was injured. It's not yet known how the fire started, but that will now form part of an ongoing fire service investigation.
Fresh after claiming victory in a Supreme Court battle, celebratory champagne flowing. The Ladies' Lounge at the Museum of Old and New Art reopening for a final frolic.
Amazing. I'm so privileged to actually be here and experience this and just enjoy.
Beautiful, magnificent, elevating, and screw the patriarchy.
The exclusive space was closed for several months following a lengthy legal battle. New South Wales man Jason Lau filing a gender discrimination lawsuit after being denied entry into the women's only space.
We were victorious. Women squashed the patriarchy that day.
Given a short but new lifespan, the lounge is promising one last hurrah.
A month-long celebration with butlers who serve women and lots of champagne. There will also be new artworks on display.
Performers are gearing up before the curtain closes for the final time.
Poetry, dance, song, and connecting together.
One difference ladies will notice in the reopened lounge are the Picasso paintings, which Keisha admitted to painting herself, are no longer on display. Instead, they're being replaced by these live sketches behind me of the tribunal and Supreme Court hearings. But although the fake Picassos are gone, they're certainly not forgotten.
There's been a bit of a bidding war, unofficial bidding war. I've received many offers for those paintings.
Rebecca Gaidaneris at 7 Tasmania News.
The RSPCA has proposed changes to the state's animal welfare legislation, which would see puppy farms banned in Tasmania. It wants to see a cap of 10 female breeding dogs per facility, a limit of 4 litters in a lifetime, and for dogs to be retired from breeding after 6 years. The RSPCA says the nation-leading reforms would ensure Tasmania has the strongest standards in the country. Public submissions for the government's review into dog welfare close at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Scientists and commercial fishers are coming together to protect the health of Tasmania's reef ecosystems. The partnership helping to rebuild our giant kelp forests by removing invasive sea urchins and promoting them as a seafood delicacy.
Our east coast was once dominated by giants of the sea.
You had these rich, thick forests pretty much everywhere you dived, and so that's what I learned to dive in.
Now almost all gone, invasive sea urchins, one of the main culprits, leaving a barren coast behind. But there is hope a $3.5 million restoration project bringing scientists and commercial fishers together to rebuild Tasmania's reef ecosystems.
Basically got strings of the magic beans and you put this out on the reef and within a year you can have the giant kelp 10 metres tall.
Harvesters target sea urchins, stopping them from eating the new and existing kelp. About 500 tonnes caught per year and served up instead.
Overseas we have a really good export market. They're very sought after in a few different countries.
Even if they are an acquired taste.
They're quite a unique flavour and a unique taste.
The Institute for Marine and Antarctic Studies is training recreational divers to help, as well as Tasmania's Aboriginal community.
We're also then training them on how to do this work at depth so they can care for their sea country deeper than they have before.
The financial backing of industry key to creating big change.
How much of a difference we can make at bigger scales, because we can do it at small scales. How do we go large?
With hopes of a resurrection for our mighty undersea forests. Zeke Gaffney, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, a scheme designed to bring the cost of freight across Bass Strait in line with mainland highways is out of date and not delivering, according to a parliamentary inquiry. Convened by Senator Tammy Tyrrell, the probe into the Tasmanian Freight Equalisation Scheme has handed down 5 findings, including the federal government review the rebates available and that the ACCC investigates whether there's enough competition on Tasmanian routes. With the busy Christmas period ramping up, Vinnie's is urging Tasmanians to think twice before donating unwanted items. As households clean out the old to make room for the new, a huge amount of unusable donations are being sent straight to the tip.
Whether you're donating clothing, bric-a-brac or miscellaneous items, Vinnie's is asking that you bear in mind 2 things.
Consider the quality of the items that you're bringing and consider when you bring those to Vinnie's.
From nappies to needles, volunteers are urging the community to sift through items before handing them over.
And we're very, very grateful for everything and anything that's donated. We do, however, ask that it's saleable.
20% of donations bypass shelves, heading straight to landfill, with Vinnie's the ones to foot the bill.
There is a rebate associated with charitable recycling and landfill, but it still costs us in terms of our logistics network to get it there.
The organisation handing out more than 100 Christmas hampers in Bridgewater yesterday alone. There are also emergency relief packs for people dealing with a range of difficulties.
Domestic violence is a huge one at the moment. Also people coming out of our prison system.
And if you're thinking of donating, volunteers are asking items aren't left on shop doorsteps or outside clothing bins.
Some of the beautiful gifts that are left for us to sell are trashed, urinated on.
There are people that visit our stores when things are left outside who choose to go through them and may take items themselves for their own purposes for resale.
Ensuring everyone receives even just a little bit of Christmas cheer. Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
Glenorchy's play spaces have been given a much-needed facelift with the final of 10 upgrades at playgrounds across the municipality now complete. The multi-million-dollar makeover is jointly funded by the federal government and Glenorchy Council.
About 30,000 children will be using these 10 play spaces and other play spaces around the Glenorchy City Council area.
We're lucky to have a very young population and childbearing population, so we have lots of little ones, and I think parks are just great connectors for grandparents.
Hope the new infrastructure will provide safe and fun environments for children to explore and play. A $5 million lifeline is hoping to inspire more festivals and events to fill Tasmania's winter calendar. But there's a long summer to focus on before that, as traders brace for the busiest and long-awaited months ahead.
As one of the biggest festivals on the Tassie summer calendar is assembled, $5 million is hoped to inspire other events to take shape.
Some further activation for events, particularly in the winter and the shoulder seasons, and also looking to drive visitation into our regions.
Up to $450,000 on offer to organisers of events planned for the quiet season over the next 2 years.
This summer sort of takes care of itself, obviously with the major events, with the Taste and the Wooden Boat Festival and things like that. So we really need to prioritise the winter season.
The funds hope to play a crucial role in encouraging holidaymakers as the tourism industry faces rocky waters with Spirit of Tasmania ship delays and a competitive market.
Just staying up to date with sort of the more global tourism flows of people wanting to choose to go overseas or domestic. But we're still seeing some really strong numbers for Tasmanian tourism.
Operators also now able to make use of a free online tool, giving them additional knowledge about outdoor tourism. It's part of an ambassador program that 1,100 industry members have already made use of.
And it's about upskilling this whole tribe of Tassie tourism ambassadors so they can talk positively about our destination and really give the visitor a top-notch experience in the Tasmanian way.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
A huge hit for the Jackies tonight, just as they get on a roll. We won't be seeing Will Magna on court for the next 6 to 8 weeks. The club confirming this afternoon he's fractured a toe during a training session this week, forcing him to take time away from the game. It comes as Tasmania goes for a record 6th straight win against Melbourne United on Monday. Well, the Hurricanes are half an hour away from getting their Big Bash season underway against the Renegades, who themselves are looking for a first win. The Canes field a very similar side to last year, with the exception of imports Shea Hope and Makar Selim-Keel. That's on straight after the news. Darius Avila is making her way to Tasmania as the Hobart International's wild card. Organisers are hoping the Aussie former top 20 player will help draw crowds.
We had record crowds this year, and I have no doubt that her presence here and her fun, her warmth really connects with Tasmanians.
On the Monday and Tuesday, fans are encouraged to wear the colours of their favourite team from any sport. The Hobart Chargers have again gone shopping in a rival league, bringing 26-year-old Ellie Collins back to the ranks. The forward previously played for the Chargers in 2021, but has since been playing for the Mackay Meteorettes in the NBL 1 North, where she averaged an impressive 17 points and 7 rebounds per game.
We think we can really utilise her across the 3-4-5 position and exploit some mismatches and that type of thing. So yeah, really exciting addition.
Working as a Hobart-based primary teacher, Collins has joined the team's practices ahead of the season starting in March.
Good evening. Hobart and Devonport 20 today, Launceston 24 and Burnie 19, Bushy Park 24 degrees, Grove and Strawn Reach 22, Lyawini, King Island and Friendly Beaches 21, Flinders Island 20 and Low Head reached 18. Just some scattered cloud today, mostly over the northeast as fine weather prevailed over all of Tasmania, no rainfall to report. Most of southern and central Australia is also cloud-free. Large areas of thunderstorms continue over the top end and North Queensland. Tomorrow, the weak ridge of high pressure will still hold our fine weather together, but we do have a trough and front moving towards our west coast ahead of another high. Northeasterly winds around most of the coast, but in the west, the northwesterlies will blow most of the day until a very late west to southwest change. We do have a strong wind warning, current from Sandy Cape to Stanley. Hobart for Friday, a top of 25 and mostly sunny. Partly cloudy for Huonville, warming up to 27, even warmer for Campania, 28 the maximum. 25 for Launceston and partly cloudy. Devonport 19, 18 for Georgetown. Burnie, a top of 19 and partly cloudy. A sunny day for Strawn, again 25 the maximum. Wynyard partly cloudy, 20 the top. 20 also for St Helens, Swansea 23, 21 for Port Arthur, all fine. On Saturday, fine apart from light drizzle over the west and far south. Showers may develop mid-afternoon in the northeast. Showers over the northeast in the morning and extending statewide by late afternoon and evening on Sunday. And on Monday, showers initially, then a move more over the west and south. A hot day ahead for Perth, Adelaide and Melbourne, all up into the 30s. Fine and sunny in Canberra and Sydney as well. Partly cloudy, 29 for Brisbane. A storm on the way for Darwin. Clear currently in Hobart, it's 18, 20 right now in Launceston, Devonport clear and 17 degrees. That wraps up the weather, Nick, and let's get off and hope the Hurricanes can get us a win.
Yes, fingers crossed. Thanks very much, Murph. Well, that's all we have time for tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow.